Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Week 12 edition of the BSB. I'm Sean Cows.
I'm Tony James.
And we are your betting strategy brothers.
That's right. How was your Thanksgiving, Cows?
It was fantastic. We went a new tradition. Our old one got canceled for COVID, so our neighbors invited us over, and it was a great time. Great time. Excellent. How about you?
Well, it's been better, but a lot of sickness going around down here in California, so we're trying to stay safe, and so we didn't have any gatherings or anything. But small family affair is usually a nice way to go.
I agree. And you guys are in lockdown now, aren't you?
Well, LA County is, so lucky we're a little bit east of there, so we're not. Gosh. But I'm sure it'll all filter. Governor Gav will all find some way to screw us over. But
a positive. You didn't get your ass kicked like I did yesterday. I got my ass handed to me. I did not win a freaking single bet in the goddamn over. And how did those teams score in both the NFL games? One team had 41 points in both of them.
I told you I had absolutely no statistical backup for anything I was saying in that Lions game. I just knew it was going to go over. And God bless.
I can't believe Matt
had my wallet Stafford.
I can't believe Matt Patricia still has a job right now.
Well, yeah, he might be, he might be counting his days. That's for sure. Holy smoke!
Sure.
But I was really surprised. I got my rear end handed to me with Dallas in the under. I thought that was going to go under, and Dallas is a tire fire. And then the Utah State game went over, which I was completely not expecting either. I had the right side, but not the right total. So
yeah, I missed that one. So you kicked my ass yesterday. So nice, brother. Nice work, brother.
Well, you can get me back this weekend. So what do you got? What do you got in that nice orange bottle over there?
Oh, this week, this is my flavor of the weekend for this week. It's a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Now I know it's not October anymore, but I always save some bottles. Today we went up north and got a real Christmas tree and cut it down and came back. And this is always what I drink because it's just this good outdoorsy lumberjack kind of feel to it. So take it up there and have it. What are you drinking tonight?
Well, I went a little on the light side. I like my I like the local breweries. So this is a Four Peaks peach ale from Four Peaks Brewery in Tempe, Arizona. So
out here,
yeah, we were able to snag a few of those, and so that's a little light tonight. I got to pace myself because Nevada has an 8 p.m. kickoff tomorrow night, and so if I get too far in the bag today, then I'm going to be in for a long, long wait tomorrow.
Well, for me, it's finishing decorating, and you can see I kind of started decorating, decorating and cleaning the house this weekend, and all of that includes a lot of beer. So
yes, for sure.
Might as well just keep going.
Well, let's talk about our Week 12 picks for the weekend. And just a reminder that this is all for entertainment. We don't guarantee any wins that we predict. We're just out here to have fun, but hopefully teach you something and give you some guidelines. You can either take our picks to the window or you can fade our picks and go to the window, whatever you choose.
After yesterday, you might want to fade our picks, but that's all right. But before we get going on the bets, I just want to talk about one thing. There are, and this goes with the bets, you're going to see the games we talk about today. We're not covering all the games that are happening. And obviously college, there's too many, but NFL games, we like to spread them around the NFL games. But because of COVID and possible injuries and stuff like that, sometimes games aren't on the board. So you can try to go to place a bet on, say, Miami right now. That game is not on the board at most places, and it depends casino to casino or sportbook to sportbook. Sometimes they're not on the board, and they're usually waiting for something to happen. They're waiting for a COVID report. They're waiting for an injury report to see if a quarterback's playing. Baltimore-Pittsburgh is another one that's not on the board, and obviously that got moved to Tuesday, and they're still waiting on that, but that's not on the board. Carolina-Minnesota is not on the board. What else is not on the board here? New Orleans-Denver. Denver's waiting for 6 players to come off the COVID list. So we didn't cover all of them, and that's because don't get discouraged. Like if you're sitting there, like either that's your team and you want to bet on them, or hey, I got full faith that the Saints are going to pound the Broncos this weekend. I want to put money on that, but I can't do it right now. Don't get upset. You're probably going to have to wait till the last minute. It's going to go up, but you probably have to wait till the last minute.
And on the other side of that too, what it also gives you the opportunity to do is go and do some research and find some other teams that you might feel a little more confident than your team. So, if I'm looking at the Saints going, I'm not really too keen on the Saints, especially after what happened with Denver last week. Maybe I want to go find another game that I like a little bit better.
Taysom Hill looked sexy though.
Yeah, he looked really good.
He did. All right, so let's get into our picks then.
All right, so I will lead off with my straight bet, which is just the one that I'm going with, just one winner, and I am going with Tennessee plus 3 points at Indianapolis. I like this for a lot of reasons. I really like the way the Titans are playing right now. I love their win against Baltimore. I think they're a better team than Indianapolis. I think Vegas has the wrong side here. I really think Tennessee is going to straight up win this game. I really liked how Tannehill's played lately. Their rushing attack is fantastic. Derrick Henry is just off the charts. Their defense is kind of in the middle of the pack, but I think that they have enough to beat Indianapolis and for sure with 3 points. So that's my straight bet this week is Tennessee plus 3. Now,
first of all, before I give my opinion on that, I'm going to say that is a plus 100, which basically means it's even money. So you bet 10, you win 10. How much are you putting on that, by the way?
I'm going to put $22 on this.
Oh, 22 to win 22.
Nice.
And that's kind of a rarity. You don't see that a lot. Straight money, 100 to plus. That's a very rare. When I saw that, that's different. So it's one. But I'm going to tell you why you're going to lose that $22, and this is not a smart bet. First of all, Indianapolis has the right stuff, baby. Just start with there. Frank Reich is a great head coach. He was a great backup quarterback, lifetime backup quarterback. He was great. And yes, that's a homer pick, and I'm fine with that. But he's great. He's got that team turned around, even with Rivers, who I think is once again one of those run-of-the-mill good quarterbacks, but never going to get there. But when you look at it, as good as Derrick Henry is, and Derrick Henry is phenomenal, don't get me wrong, and he ran all over Buffalo. Tennessee is still only 5th in rushing, and Indy's defense is 3rd against the rush. Mm-hmm. Now, Indy's defense is a little depleted in the line, but Indy's defense overall is too good for that team. Now, there's been a couple of games this year where Indy kind of wavered a little bit on the defensive front, even with everybody there, but they're still going to be good. Another thing that you should, and I'm going to talk about my pick on this game later on, but a bet that I really like for this game that I did not put in here is when Ryan Tannehill starts, they're 8-2 for the over. That's an over bet. I like that.
Interesting.
That was just a little tidbit I picked up as I was looking for that, but there's no way that Indy is going to, at home, lose to Tannehill and Tennessee. And they're a great team, don't get me wrong. I just think Frank Reich has that team moving in the right
direction. Every time, and this goes back to the San Diego Charger days, every time I just wait for Phillip Rivers to go Phillip Rivers. And as we like to call him, we call him Felipe Rios. And when Rios goes Rios, it's always bad. And inevitably it happens. And, last week they had a good game against Green Bay. I'm just not convinced it can happen twice.
Yeah, and I agree. I think Green Bay is – we'll talk about Green Bay later. I think they're a little overrated, just a little bit. Not a lot, but I think they're a little overrated. But I agree, Phillip Rivers always has that temper tantrum. Let's call it a temper tantrum where but I think under Frank Reich is talking to him. Frank Reich is teaching him. And I actually think he's the best quarterback coach Phillip Rivers has ever seen. So
I would agree.
I think that's huge. I think that's huge for him, and that's why he's got them going in the right direction.
Well, let's talk about your straight bet because it's near and dear to my heart.
I know. I went with your team, your college team, the Battleborn Nevada Wolfpack, but I am going with the under here at 60.5. When you look at, and it's not because of Nevada. It's not because of Nevada at all. Nevada, their points per game has been between 26 and 37. But when you look at Hawaii, they've had 2 games in the 30. The other games are less than 20 points. They've scored 7, 10, and 19. So even if Nevada gets their season high against Hawaii, which is going to be about 40 points, you still need Hawaii to score 20, and they are not going to do that against Nevada's defense.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, Hawaii is transitioning from an offensive-minded coach in Nick Rolovich to a defensive-minded coach in Todd Graham. So there's definitely been some inconsistencies on the offensive side of the football. And defensively, their front is just not good. I see Nevada running all over that team, and if the running game starts moving, and for Nevada, it hasn't been that great so far this season. If the running game starts moving, that shortens the game a lot, and if that shortens the game, that's good for unders.
Correct. And like I said, Nevada could easily break out and score 40 points. But I don't think they're going to allow Hawaii to score that many points when Hawaii can't score 7 points. They're struggling to score every week.
Last week it was 30. I believe it was 32-9 or something like that before Hawaii got a couple of backdoor touchdowns. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I could see this being a 41-14 game.
Yep, I agree. All right, you got any other straight bets, or are we moving to parlays? Because that's my only straight bet.
Yeah, mine too. I'm moving to parlays on this next one. Now, what I did this week and what I like to do when I bet is, I like to try and take advantage of opportunities. And so what I will do is I'll look at the schedule and unfortunately, usually there's a disproportional amount of games in the morning versus the afternoon, or the 1 p.m. Eastern starts versus the 4 p.m. Eastern starts. So what I like to do is I like to do tickets that are just 1 p.m. Eastern starts. And that way, when those games end around 4 Eastern, between 4 and 4:25 Eastern, I can go and I can make more bets with my winnings. I can, kind of reevaluate where I'm at and make some decisions. So I have 2 parlays this week, Sean. My first one is a morning parlay. So it's just 1 p.m. Eastern games. So 10 a.m. on the West Coast. That's why I call it a morning parlay. I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders on the money line and the Buffalo Bills on the money line. They're both favorites. So my $10 is not going to go exceptionally far. It's going to win me 15, but I'm very confident in the way the Raiders are playing right now. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders. This is Derek Carr's best season by far. And you're going into Atlanta where they're struggling a little bit. Combine that with Buffalo. I really like how Buffalo's played this year. And I just think they're going to be too much of a match for the Chargers. So I'm going to put those 2 favorites together and see if I can cash in on it.
And I like this bet of yours a lot. Atlanta's scary, and mainly because Matty Ice is Matty Ice, and he's doing Matty Ice things. He is second in passing this year. It is not his fault they're losing. Last week he got sacked 8 times, and I get that. Yes, quarterback has some. You didn't do this right to get sacked, but 8 times you got to look elsewhere. You got to look at that O-line and do that. Vegas is sorry, I totally had a brain fart there. Vegas has covered the spread in 6 of their last 7 road games. So that bodes really well for that. And in Buffalo, I think it's going to be a close game with the Chargers, but I think my Bills are going to overcome them.
I think so too. I could see that Buffalo game being a 31-28 down to the wire game, but I think Buffalo is a better team. I'm giving them the nod at home, and Vegas is, and look, I mean, this is year 3 of the Gruden project, and him and Mayock have that team. They're getting their guys, and they're playing the way they want to play, and that's great news for Raider fans. So I see them going in and beating an Atlanta Falcons team that's struggling.
Yeah, I'll talk about Buffalo later on when I make my other bet. You got a couple parlays here. I see. What else you got for your afternoon?
Okay, so in the afternoon, I once again went with a couple of favorites. I went with the LA Rams over the San Francisco 49ers, just on the money line. Once again, they're a home favorite. And then I also went with the Kansas City Chiefs on the road against Tampa Bay. Both of them favorites. I'm taking those. That $10 of mine will actually win me $10. So, but once again, it's one of those things where I'm looking at it as a sure opportunity. I like the Rams at home. I think San Francisco couldn't, find the goal line without a map. The Rams are starting to get on that roll again that we saw a couple of years ago, and I'm very impressed, especially after this last game against Tampa Bay. And then you got Kansas City going into Tampa Bay, where it's going to be Mahomes and Brady, and that's just going to be I will talk about it in a second. I think that's going to light the scoreboard on fire, but I think that Kansas City is just a little too much for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Kansas City is second overall in yards, first in points. So there's going to be some fireworks going in that game. And Tampa they got a great defense, but they're still not good enough to overcome that Kansas City team. And fuck Tom Brady. That's all I got to say. He is not the greatest of all time. That, in my mind, goes to Peyton Manning. But we can argue that all day at different time. Go ahead.
You look at the loss that the Raiders put on the Chiefs a few weeks ago. I mean, it took 40 points for them to beat the Chiefs. Do you really think Tom Brady is going to put 40 points up on Kansas City? I just don't see it.
No, it's not going to happen. He can't. That old ass arm can't handle that.
But then, can you go the other way? Can you see Patrick Mahomes putting 40 points on the Tampa Bay defense? I can see that more likely.
More likely, yes. I still don't know if he can throw. I will talk about the score later, but Kansas City's going to win. The Rams, I agree. You got Nick Mullins starting for San Francisco. I mean, yeah, exactly. And I don't think Jimmy G is 100% the answer. He did get him to the promised land, didn't win it, but he got him there. So I got to give him credit for that, but I still don't think he's the answer. But who is the answer, who really hurts them being out, is Kittle, and Kittle is still out, and that's huge for them. I could throw it to him and look like a superstar. He's too much of a loss for them, and they can't overcome that.
I agree. So I put 10 on both of those parlays. And then I also, Sean, did took a little strategy out of your book, my friend, and kind of went a little bit crazy. I call this the paid my rent parlay. And it is just all overs. And this is a little bit inspired by my buddy Eric, taking Vegas and the Falcons over 53, Buffalo and the Chargers over 52.5, Kansas City and Tampa Bay over 56, Miami and the Jets over 44.5, and Arizona, New England over 49. I know that Arizona is particularly shorthanded, but I really, for $5, let's see what happens, man. Let's roll the dice and see if we can get a big reward out of this.
Well, and let me tell you a couple of the reasons that the Arizona game, I've already mentioned that they literally have 4 receivers. They have 4 receivers on their depth chart. That's it. Fitz is out with COVID. Mm-hmm. You got all these guys hurt. You have D-Hop, which, don't get me wrong, D-Hop is outstanding, and yes, he screwed the Bills, but he was outstanding before that. Then you got Christian Kirk, sorry, not Kirk Cousins. Got the Kirks mixed up. Christian Kirk, you got Andy Isabella, and you got Keyshawn Johnson. Those are your 4 receivers, and D-Hop is good, Christian Kirk is good, the other 2 not so much, and you have to play all 4 of those all game. If you're New England and you're Bill Belichick, the greatest D mastermind of all time, and you're sitting there going, I'm just going to cover freaking Isabella and Kirk all game. What else do I have to do? And then have your D-line contain, because I've watched Bill Belichick coach teams for years, and he teach confinement. Those guys are not going to let Kyler Murray run all over them. So it is not going to be good. There's not going to be a lot of points in that game. It's going to be 52. It's going to be kind of cold there, but it's going to be sunny. It's not going to be rainy, so you don't have to worry about that. I just don't think Arizona has the weapons to score enough points, and Cam Newton's not doing well enough to score. I'm just gonna hope it goes to overtime at 24, and then I'm a winner. Well, and I love the fact that you want Buffalo to get over, but here's the thing. Here's the problem with Buffalo It's going to be cold. It's going to be in the 40s. It's going to be 19-mile-an-hour winds with gusts at 30. Like that. Josh Allen has the arm to throw that, and I think Herbert does, but I don't think Herbert has the experience to be able to throw through that. I don't think he's going to get it in there.
See, there you go, bring up the weather again. You had to do that for me, just like the Seattle game a couple of weeks ago. You had to wreck my parade, but you know what? I'm going to go for it anyway, right? No risk, no reward.
I agree. It's just, you got to think of those things. Like it definitely plays a factor, and I don't care what you think. The weather plays a factor, and you say, "Oh, they're pros, and they got to play with that." And that's what they're. It doesn't make it easier. You're still trying to throw an inflated ball through the air that is 100%. Getting blown around. Like Allen knows. I mean, he played at Wyoming. He played at. He's played. He knows how to deal with that. He knows how to throw into it. Herbert. And I think Herbert's going to be a star in this league. I actually see him and Kyler Murray both reflecting Josh Allen. First year, not so good. You can see stars. You can see it coming, but he's just not there yet. Second year, you can see in Kyler Murray, he's getting there. He's going to be there. And, third year, Josh Allen, his third year is finally taking the team where it needs to go. So I see all those quarterbacks as almost one and the same people. Kyler's definitely the most shifty of us all, and he can run around it. But I think they're on the same path. But I don't see that game going over. All right, my parlay.
Yeah, let's tell me about it.
Back to Indy. We're going back to the Indy game. I think Indy wins, and I've already told you when Indy is tops in defense, compared to Tennessee being middle of the road in offense. Defense wins games. Defense wins championships. And then I'm going to talk about Cleveland. Holy shit! Does Cleveland even need to show up? I mean, they're playing They're playing freaking Jacksonville with Mike fucking Glennon.
The giraffe.
Mike Glennon.
Oh, I'm so excited.
He is 6-16 as a starter. 6-16 as a starter in this league.
He's won 6 games as a starter.
I know. I had the same. I had the same thought. I'm like, man, he really did win 6 out of 22. That's not great. Cleveland is missing Myles Garrett. They're missing a bunch on the D. But Jacksonville.
You don't even know if Minshew's going to play, and his top 2 weapons are out too. So
correct.
I mean, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
they've been hit so hard by injuries this year. It's not the same Jacksonville team at all.
No, and when you look at Cleveland, and it does shock me to say that Cleveland is 7-3. I'm going to give them their props being there. It's just weird for me to say Cleveland 7-3, but part of the reason they're 7-3 is because they're third in the league in rushing. They got a great rushing attack, and Jacksonville was 24th against it. Like that's a no-brainer to me to take that on the win. On the points are -7.5, and I would take that. But once again, that could be something crazy happens, and it takes over, and I don't want that to ruin my thing. So I'm just taking Cleveland straight up.
Yeah, it has all the indications. It could be 24-3, but then you know how kooky sometimes Jacksonville games get. So that's a good pick.
Well, and then my last one and my third is Seattle over Philly. Philly's a dog shit show. Carson Wentz is done. His problem started when he got that concussion against Seattle last time in, what was it, 2018, I think it was, when they played. He got that concussion. He hasn't been right since. Seattle's coming. They're hot. They're going to take over that. They're worried about the Rams, so they need to stay with the Rams. Rams are going to have this win this week, and they need to both. They're fighting for first there, so they're going to keep it up. You have the only thing that's going to benefit Philly is the fact that it is going to be raining. It's going to be 31-mile-an-hour winds with 52-mile-an-hour gusts. So that's going to keep the ball out of Wentz's hands if he's smart, if Peterson's smart. But Peterson already has alluded to the fact that Jalen Hurts is probably getting in this game, and I would not be surprised if you see Jalen Hurts quick.
That would be a great move for Philadelphia. Might as well. But, I mean, we say that, and they're still – I mean, they're 3-6-1, but the division is still inside for them.
Yeah,
unbelievably.
And anybody in that division has a shot.
Holy smokes!
But my 40 on that 3-team parlay is going to win $78.
Right on. I love
And once
it.
again, I did that as a parlay. I did those three teams as a parlay because Indy's minus 170, Cleveland's minus 305, Seattle's minus 245. So individually, I'm not going to win any money, but I put them together, and now I'm trying to make my money. That's why I parlayed those three.
That sounds beautiful to me. Sounds beautiful. All right. Do you have any more parlays, or are we going into our teasers now?
We're going to the teasers.
All right. So I got two teasers for you, Cowis. I got a college teaser and a pro teaser. On Saturday, I figure that I might as well just keep on, taking the girl to the dance and trying to get what I need. You know what I mean? I'm staying in the Mountain West. I love San Jose State this week at Boise State. They are getting 11.5 points in Boise. But Boise is not the same Boise team that they were before. San Jose is also not the same San Jose team that it's been before. Nick Starkel, the quarterback for San Jose, has been playing unbelievably this year. Their coach has them definitely in the right direction. They're no longer the doormat, and believe it or not, they're challenging for a spot in the Mountain West title game. Last year, Boise State won by 10 at San Jose State, but the teams have been getting closer every year for the past 3 years. I really like teasing that up to 17.5 and walking away with that. On the same game, I like this game going over 52. I tease that down from 58. And I think that's going to be when I could see this game going, I could see Boise winning this game, but I could see it being, a 35-24 game. And in which case you'd be a winner. And then I also like Nevada on the islands. I like that, teasing that down and taking the over 54.5. If Nevada can stay around their average at 35 and their defense gives up a couple backdoor touchdowns, I could definitely see that going over. So that is
going to happen. I'm hoping for you. And what are you putting on this one?
I am putting 22 on this.
22. All right. So 22 is going to win you. What is that? 34, 36?
That will win me 34.
34. Yeah. There's no way that Hawaii. I'm not being a homer for you and rooting for your Wolfpack. I mean, I have friends who played for the Wolfpack.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy watching them, and I root for your teams. But I just, if they're going to win, that's a no-brainer. But the over, it's just Hawaii cannot score that many points this year. Last year, they were forced to reckon with, and they were doing great last year. And this year, it just ain't happening anymore.
And that's the scary part about overs, right, Sean, is like we look at it and we go, oh, man, any two teams can combine and score, 4 touchdowns apiece. That's one every quarter. But then you get into the minutia and you're looking at, changes in systems and you look at an a defensive line that's not very good and can't put pressure on a quarterback, which could shorten the game if the opposing offense decides to run the ball, or Nevada could just start passing. Now, the thing is, Hawaii's secondary is really good. They've given up 1 passing touchdown per game. And so that kind of leads me to think that Nevada's going to run the ball a lot. But if they can't,
which bodes well for the under.
But if they can't tackle anybody, that's more possessions. So, it's kind of one of those things. Plus, you know what? Games in Hawaii just get so weird sometimes. Like last week shouldn't have been that close. Last week Boise was blowing them out. And I look at the score when I wake up and it's an 8-point game. So, just weird crap happens there in football games.
Well, it's kind of like Oregon State tonight. Weird shit happened.
Yeah, no joke.
What else you got on the teaser?
All right, so my other teaser is a pro teaser, and I did mix times on this game, but I thought it was worth it. I took the Giants. I teased them from minus 6 to even. I teased Denver as a home dog from +6 to +12 against the Saints. And I teased Tampa Bay from +3 to +9 against Kansas City, which may seem counterintuitive to my Kansas City on the money line bet. However, they can both win if Kansas City wins by less than 9. So, and that's what I really think is going to happen in the Tampa Bay game. I think that's a 38-35 game. Denver looked fantastic last week against Miami, better than I had thought that they would. And the Saints are rolling in with their backup quarterback. Not sure how that's going to go down for them. Plus, it's going to be cold. So,
it's going to be cold. It's not going to be very windy, but here's what you're missing. The Saints ran the same fucking defense they did with Drew Brees, other than the design plays they had for Taysom Hill that they always have design runs for him to come in. Other than those, they ran the same offense they did, and he succeeded. Sean Payton he's up there with the coaching greats. He is not the greatest. To me, that's still Belichick, but he is up there. And he knows I got this kid. I've had him for a while. He's been in my program. He knows how to run it. He's been under Drew Brees. He's going to succeed. That's why he's doing it. It's not Jameis Winston.
I love, and you make a great point. Sean Payton has taken Taysom Hill and turned him into a really good NFL player. And you can see just in his versatility, he can play every position on the offensive side. Shoot, you could probably throw him on the line. He might be able to do something. But I just think 12 points, if you tease that up, 12 points is too much to give to Denver. Now, if Drew Lock is Drew Lock shit, then now we got a big problem. But if Drew Lock comes out like he did last week or in that game against the Chargers, well, then I think I'm feeling really good. And then the Giants, tough break for Cincinnati last week. But the Giants, I think, are on the upswing here. So that's my teaser.
I agree with that pick. Back to the Tennessee game. You got to realize something that Denver, in any team, I think, is not, and this is why the Saints are 8-2. It's really hard when you have a quarterback like Taysom Hill has fun playing the game. He is one of the few quarterbacks I love watching right now. He's up there with Josh Allen, those guys that just have fun. You can tell they're having fun playing the game. Whereas as great as Drew Brees is, and I love watching Drew Brees play, you can see when he's playing, it is a math game. He is thinking in his head how he's going to do, what he's going to do. He's not, I don't want to say he's not having fun. I'm sure he is, but whereas Taysom Hill, he's almost like a kid playing. Like, you got those guys that are like that. And I think that adds to dimension. But on top of that, you have Alvin Kamara. You now have to worry about Denver stopping him on top of stopping Taysom Hill, who succeeds in that offense, that same offense that Drew Brees is fighting with Tom Brady for the most touchdown passes with. And when you look at Denver's defense, they're not terrible. They're middle of the road, and then when you look at even passing yards is the Saints' worst offensive stat, and they're still 15th. Like, Denver's not going to be able to handle that.
It just shows you that Denver, in order for Denver to be successful on Sunday, they're going to have to shorten the game. They're going to have to get a lot of carries out of Melvin Gordon, and they're going to have to just ram the ball down New Orleans' throat and just wear them down and wear them down and wear them down. I don't trust Drew Lock as a passing quarterback right now. Maybe next year, but I mean,
and the Saints are second against the rush. How are they going to run with Melvin Gordon on the road?
I still think 12 is too many. I think 12 is too many.
That's a lot. I agree. It's 2 touchdowns basically. That's a lot, but I think it's gone. All right, I'm on to mine here.
Tell me yours.
I got the Giants just like you did. I teased them up from 6 to even. Buffalo. The Chargers have been in every game this year, other than their biggest blow, their win. The only time they've won big or lost big really was in the first couple of weeks when they had Tyrod Taylor in there. And Tyrod Taylor's come back to Buffalo, but he's as a backup now where he belongs. But they've been in every game. Excuse me. And I like Buffalo on the money line, but I like putting them as a teaser because I think this is going to be a close game. Buffalo wins, but it's going to be a close game. I don't think 4 points is going to be. I hope it is. I hope Buffalo's going to cover the spread at -4, but it's just too close for me when Chargers are winning or losing every game within 3 points, and they're always that last-minute drive. They come out hot the first half. They lose it in the second half. It's just it's too much. And then my last one, we've talked about the Rams being the key. I'm taking they're -7. I'm teasing them up to -1 because I think they're going to win by probably 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take 25, make my 25, make 38. That's my one teaser.
And you just take it to the bank, right? And that's the thing with the teasers is they're changing our odds. They're making it easy, quote, easier for us.
Correct.
But, you look at that and you're like, well, I'm really confident that Buffalo is going to win. Cool. Here's 2 more points. Then now you're more confident, right?
Well, and it's more so when I looked at that one, I said, like I said, I'm not confident Buffalo's going to win by 4, and I think they're going to win, but I want to make sure I win a bet with them, and so I'm going to take them at +2.
That's a great pick.
That's why I tease that. And then my second teaser, and this is kind of my pay the rent one. And this is more of a Hail Mary. I'm saying New England, they're getting 1 point as it sits right now. They're getting at 1 point. That's been wavering. They're getting 1 point. I'm going to tease them up to 7 points because, like I said, Arizona has no receivers to throw to. Bill Belichick's going to have Kyler Murray just confused and not know what to do. So I'm going to take New England, tease them up to 7 points. I'm going to take that Seattle-Philly game, and I am going to tease it. The over-under is 49. I'm going to take that 49, make it 55, and I'm going to take the under because, like I said already, when you're looking at 31-mile-an-hour winds, you're looking at Carson Wentz. He can't hit a freaking –
He can't hit the broadside of a barn.
He can't hit water out of a boat, fell out of a boat, but he can't hit that, and then you throw that wind at him, and then even Seattle's quarterback, Jesus Christ.
Russell Wilson.
Help me out. Thank you, Russell Wilson. Jeez, it's late. Even Russell Wilson is going to have trouble with those wins. I don't care who you are, you're going to have trouble with those wins. So they're going to have to run the ball. That's going to slow that game down a lot. And it's going to be rainy. So there's not going to be a lot of points spread. Seattle's going to score, and I'm looking at them scoring 21, 28. And Philly will be lucky to walk off the field with any points. I would be surprised if they get shut out. Now, Chicago, I'm going to take Chicago at 9.5, and I'm going to tease them up to 15.5. Now, Green Bay is going to win that game. Rodgers is 15-5 against Chicago, but Green Bay is, I don't want to say overrated, but they're struggling. I mean, they got a great record right now, and they're in the playoff hunt. They're going to win that division, but they're struggling, and they're going to beat Chicago. They're going to win, but it's not good. It's going to be a close game. Chicago's defense is going to be too much, and when Rodgers has seen pressure this year, he has not been good. And when you see a Khalil Mack coming in your face, you're not going to know what to do. So I'm going to tease Chicago up to 15.5 and take them. I could have easily gone the other way with that and teased Green Bay down to -3.5, and I think that would have been a win too. But I'm taking the underdog here because if I take the underdog in anything, I'm going to get more money for my money. So I'm trying to make this my kind of pay the rent one here. Then I'm going to take that Cleveland game. That Cleveland, once again, the over-under is 49.5. I'm going to tease it up to 55.5. And like I said, Jacksonville is they're not going to know which way is up. They're not going to be able to score points. Cleveland's going to score points, but it's not going to be enough between the both of them to cover 50. So when I make it 55.5, I'm good at going under that. And then the Giants game, once again, I'm going to take that 44. I'm going to tease it up to 50, and then I'm going to take the under. And once again, when you're looking at Cincinnati is playing Brandon Allen off the freaking practice squad. He is their practice squad quarterback. That's who Cincinnati is going to play. And it sucks. I would have loved to see Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is going to be starting this league, but he's out. And Cincinnati is not going to be able to score. They're going to go back to being god-awful miserable. They're going to be as miserable as the Jets, if not worse. And I know it sucks, but they're going to be terrible. So they're not going to be able to score points, which is why I'm taking the under in that game. But I'm teasing up to 50. 44 could happen. 50 won't. So, but my Hail Mary, this is $25 to win me $628. So that's why I'm taking it.
I love it. And I think you made great points about Cleveland, Jacksonville, and New York, Cincinnati. Those both have a feeling that those could easily become 34-3 games. And
there's not going to be a lot of points scored there.
Yeah, or there's going to be a lot of scoring on one side and not the other, and that's definitely good for unders, right? Unless Cleveland puts 55 up, then you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, which I don't think they can do.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, that's the end of our Week 12 edition. I hope you guys enjoyed it. BS, I hope you have a great weekend, and everybody at home, I hope you have a great weekend and take Vegas down. I hope you all take Vegas down.
Yeah, we'll see you at the penthouse.
I agree. Remember, you can hit us up. You can ask us questions, what we're thinking this week. We'll both be asking. We have Facebook page. It's at BSB Podcast 1. We have Twitter at B Podcast BS. We have our YouTube BSB Podcast 1, where this will be represented. And we have an email address at bsbpodcast1@gmail.com. Hit us up with your questions. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think should be better, worse. You suck. Get rid of that guy in the Bills hat. He's an idiot. Whatever you think, you let us know. You can message us, tweet us, whatever you think.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you guys have a good weekend out there. Make some money, and then we will talk next week, and we'll be ready for the first week of Double Down December.
That's right. And remember, this is purely for entertainment. We do not guarantee anything we predict. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.